About a month ago in November, something happened to me that made it very difficult for me to do anything. There are things that happen to you that almost become sort of a reminder that happened to you before in the past. And it's as if it knocks you back to that very moment where the memory first originated, making anything you do hard to do. This moment in November was that reminder for me, and even as I'm organizing my thoughts for this video and figuring out how I'm going to deliver what I want to say here, the pain of this reminder still affects me. And with having the type of brain that amplifies these triggers, it made it damn near impossible for me to keep going after being knocked down, until I found meaning in doing the little things that may seem to be insignificant. Which is why, if you've ever felt like this in the past, or even if you're feeling like it right now, I want to share my process of what I started to do to start doing those little things that allow me to become consistent with getting closer to the things I want to accomplish every day, even when I feel like shit, or even when it feels like I'm progressing very slowly. And really, this came from learning how to let go of the expectations of the future. And before I begin, if you're new here, I'm Jamil. Welcome to Mindset Redo. For more insights and ideas, you can check out my mailing list in the first link in the description down below. Now, in no way this is professional advice. I'm just sharing my experience of how I've been dealing with this every day. And even now, I'm still trying to find what will work for me, because it's so tough trying to find a process that will stick. You should absolutely go to a professional and get help understanding how to deal with whatever it is you got going on. But I've been doing better recently, and I think there's some value in how I've been approaching this, sort of doing something little every day thing that I've been doing. You find meaning in those actions you need to take, even if it's something that seems so insignificant and small, but just gets you closer to what you're trying to accomplish. Which in my case is to make the process in which I make these videos a lot simpler, so I can make more of these videos. Because if the process of making these long form videos being so difficult, it's not as easy as,
oh, just make more videos.
It takes repeating each independent action and familiarizing yourself enough with the process to how your relationship with how you experience time doing these actions and being in that situation starts to feel different. That's when you're welcome to a state of focus doing these actions, when you're writing, when you're editing, while you're filming, and you're sort of in a realm where it seems like time doesn't even exist. The thing I noticed that was stopping me a lot when it came to accessing the state was my strong desire to sort of have my dream business or dream relationship by like a certain time frame. And it's good to have goals, obviously, although your connection to them might make you feel overwhelmed. Overwhelmed because it felt as if any step I took towards it was not far enough. The thought process of, even if I do get out of bed to do this, eventually I'm gonna feel like shit again anyway, so what's the point? And it made doing things that will eventually lead me to getting to the point I wanna get to, like making the 3-minute videos I make every day to sort of kind of get better on being on camera, and sort of like writing so I can structure my thoughts a little bit better, seem insignificant. And over time, as I continue doing this 3-minute video or doing a little bit of writing every day, despite the agitation and anxiety that I might face, I started to realize that your progress doesn't need to be equal to the days that you feel best. So even if I knew what video I wanted to film would be shitty, I would just still pick up the camera and just film anyways. Or if I knew the idea that I wanted to like start writing about would be super nonsensical, wouldn't even make any fucking sense, I would start writing anyways. Realizing that making these small objective my goals rather than those big overarching huge ones, this is what allowed me to make more progress than my approach on how I was doing it before, and find fulfillment in simply just overcoming my own mental health to make progression. And those small objectives, they stack up big over time. By setting actions to be my goals rather than like the results that I'm looking for, it was much easier to accept the full range of emotions I experienced while on my journey. Setting too large of a goal like being rich or becoming famous distorts your view on the time it takes to do those little actions long enough to actually get to that point, making the things you have to do to get there pointless, and then it becomes a procrastination problem. And that's when this thought right here pops up in your head again. Because to get to that point where you can move regardless if you feel like shit, it's a matter of setting your goals based on what you can do to get closer, instead of defining your success by a result. A lot of life is luck. The things that we do have control over it is the actions that we take You taking an action is not an act of luck. I say luck because you're not guaranteed that result each time you do that action. Although the only way to get the result that you're looking for is actually do an action. Your amount of luck is equal to the sum total of the actions you take, with each action serving as a lottery ticket. And if your experience with the time that it takes to do each action seems elongated because they seem insignificant, it's gonna be very difficult to get lucky. That's the hard part, because when you first start something, it's gonna feel like it takes forever since you're just starting. You're completely new. Dr. Andrew Huberman, I don't know. Anyway, he studies neuroscience and he deduced a few things while studying the brain of this guy.
Think about it, man. I talk about my book, Open-Mindedness. What separates me from a lot of people is they go into a daunting task, and the task is overwhelming. Like when I heard the pull-up record was 4,020 pull-ups, and I was talking about breaking this record, people are like, oh my God. I went right to a pen and paper. They go, what are you doing? I'm doing the math, man. What are you talking about? I'm open-minded to the fact that, okay, if I do 5 pull-ups in a minute for so many hours, I can get so many pull-ups in. How much time do I have to rest? I was breaking the math down. You have to be open-minded to the possibilities that I can do this.
And that in the early stages of hard work and focus are gonna feel like stress and agitation and confusion, because that's a norepinephrine. Because that's a norepinephrine. That fucking shit. How do you say this word? Because that's the norepinephrine and the adrenaline kicking in. And through this, you can understand something fundamental to biology. The adrenaline response was designed to keep us moving and not keep us stationary. None of us would expect a musician like Tame Impala just go on stage about warming up. That's because we need to start moving till our brain has time to hone in on which circuits are gonna be active. That's the part that's the stress, the confusion, and what falls after is that state of flow that we're all looking for. And it's unreasonable to think, because I've done this so many fucking times where I just sit down and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna write some fucking fantastic piece of literature in the next hour without even doing any sort of warm up for my brain. Before I started doing those 3 to 5 minute videos or some of the writing I do every day, what I would try to do, I would try to accomplish an entire draft of my video in one go. And I just found that to be way too much for me just to warm up. The act of warming up doesn't need to be a certain way. It's about finding your own individual way to find a way to bypass that period of stress and agitation. That's why I decided to whittle down the actions that I take, especially when I was in this period where my mental health was really bad, to just doing those 3 to 5 minute videos every single day. Just a 3 to 5 minute of me piecing together the thoughts I had about the next topic I wanted to make for the next video I'm gonna post. And it took months for me to like really come to terms that there's always gonna be that period of stress and agitation that accompanies me dropping into that flow state. I learned that that was the price of getting to the state of mind that allows me to flow through tasks. And what I noticed is that the period of the stress and agitation that I had to go through seemed to be shortened every time I would start, making the actions I gotta do somewhat easier. Like the pain didn't go away, but the process just became more fluent, because it's almost like my brain memorized that there's gonna be a reward for that tenacity. And that's exactly what I was doing. That's our dopamine system. That's Mother Nature's ancient system that is hardwired in all animals, including us humans. Hardwired to put us on the right path. You just start doing things that work towards bettering your mental health, working on something impactful, or becoming a better person just because it feels good to do so. Failure and success mattered less to me and just offered me moments to learn deeper in something that I'm already interested in. A lot of people talk about dopamine as this thing that you get when you get a lot of money or you finish working on something. That's true. That's true. But dopamine's main role is to be released anytime you reach a milestone or you think that you're on the right path. If we can identify our own individual limit for experiencing stress and agitation, as we push through that and reach the reward on the other end, our brain memorizes that path, making it easier each and every time. And it gives us way more room to hit newer and higher milestones. When we set a goal for ourselves that involves so many different variables, we create an unsolvable problem for ourselves. When I was watching one of Dr. K's video, he actually put it perfectly. It's like when you're walking towards a mountain, like if you take one step towards a mountain that you see into the horizon, it's not gonna look like you've got any fucking closer to it. It's the same with getting rich, finding the love of your life, or fixing your mental health. When we're deadlocked on those broad goals, goals. It makes time seem infinite and the actions we take insignificant. And especially depending on the distance that you are from those goals, depending on the situation that you're in, it is completely reasonable to just let go of any hope of even getting there. And no, this doesn't mean to wallow in despair. You can do a little bit of that, but to create that space to finally ask yourself if your life is defined by that one goal you want to reach, whether that's your dream house, your dream relationship, your dream business, or your dream job. If it is, then I could see how it's going to seem pointless to make those incremental actions to get closer to it, because I know I've been there myself. And that's when it gets hard to even wake up and not think that life is pointless. Like, even to this day, I still visit that headspace occasionally. But the truth is, there is just more to life than getting those things that can be found in the process. There is just more to life than all those things. We just have to become willing to actually look. Otherwise, you would never see people who have all those things feel like shit. Ever. The fact is, Jay-Z is married to Beyonce and he still goes to therapy. People aren't perfectly happy even when they get what they want. If what you want is too hard to solve, just fucking give up. Okay, wait. And start fixing the other stuff. And you'll find that you'll either never wanted that badly in the first place, or you're gonna start doing the actions that'll get you closer out of a genuine interest. Like, I just completely threw out my entire goal of having passive income, but it wasn't a matter of me giving up. It was a matter of me finding a different problem to solve. That's when I picked up writing just to express myself. I saw value in this because I could learn to understand myself better and communicate with others so I could have healthier relationships in my life. And I just simply felt good doing it. And I've been writing for about 2.5 years now, just doing it because I just feel good doing it. Last year is when I decided to reach out to random people in sort of an authentic way, just showing up as me, which then led me to collaborating with someone who runs a Reddit forum, and they said I could actually make a post on their forum and they're gonna pin it to the very top. And because of my writing, because of my communication skills that I gained through just picking up writing as sort of a genuine interest, that post still serves as a part-time source of income for me to this day. And I did the same thing to refine my process when I became a personal shopper, making the full-time income I would make working full-time hours, now working less than like 18 hours a week. And I have so many more milestones to reach from here. Allow yourself to be this human that you are instead of failing to be what you want to be. That's what's gonna make you more attracted to the things that you desire. If you try to be something else, like tether yourself to something that you desire, by definition, you become insufficient. That feeling of being insufficient is what drove you to become obsessed with that thing in the first place, because you don't know how to feel complete without it. That's the paradox. Without being able to already feel sufficient without it, it's gonna be very difficult to do those tiny actions that are gonna seem insignificant at the start, enough to the point where you'll actually be able to attain it. And the thing is, you are already ready to attain it. You just need to see that for yourself. Once you do, that's when those actions start to become effortless. It becomes difficult bettering your mental health since you're doing it for yourself instead of finding the truth about yourself and being a better person so the people that are already in your life can actually have a more healthier relationship with you. It becomes difficult to go to the gym because you're only there to look hot for the person that you want to ask out, instead of going to the gym to build your body and mind, and also to feel accomplished in doing something that makes you feel good about yourself. It becomes difficult to learn new skills because all you care about is getting rich, instead of finding what you can do to sort of build the business that's gonna have an impactful effect on yourself and the people that you have a desire to serve. And when, let's say, something inevitably goes wrong and you face your first loss in your business, or that person rejects you, you lose all reason to continue doing the things that progress you to even reach that point. Abandoning the work you put in because your motivation was to get money or to only get jacked for that person you want to date. Like, when I realized this about myself, I realized how screwed I was doing anything or progressing with anything because my motivations were set by the whims of someone else or the amount of things I desired, which is absolutely fucked. Reframing myself away from those goals because staying so attached to them made any actions that don't yield those results right away seem pointless. I literally accepted that I may never have those things and just learned to grieve the loss of those desires. and then move them into categories of nice to haves. Like, you know what? I might actually die, never have dated Beyonce or be richer than Jeff Bezos. But you know what? This world just simply has more to offer than relationships, money, and status. And personally, limiting my worldview to those things is honestly just depressing. When I was able to assign a different meaning to those things, whether that was going to the gym, writing these videos, or being a better person just because I feel good doing them, those things I desperately desired started to be drawn towards me. Can you be happy you felt those things? I don't know. I'm still discovering it myself. But how would we even know if we don't even begin to look? The power just went out. What the fuck? Okay. Fuck! Oh my god, the power just went out. You know what? We're gonna keep rolling. We're like almost done here. But what if it turns back on in like the next like 30 seconds? We don't fucking know. Oh my god, it's so quiet. No, my fridge, oh my shit's gonna go bad. Okay, you know what? We're gonna keep rolling. We got sunlight, so I think you guys can still see me. When faced with an unsolvable problem, we feel overwhelmed and then we tend to procrastinate. But if we can take the time to figure out whether that desire is for that solution is going to come from a place of ego, we can then begin tackling the variable. Those actions you take that make you simply better than the day before. That's where we end up a constant state of attempting to solve this unsolvable problem. And maybe one day we might get lucky. Suddenly you're not doing these things just for the sake of achieving these huge goals and won't be flooded with huge disappointment when you inevitably counter failure. Although you just start doing things because you just feel good doing them. It feels good to be a better person, not just for yourself, but for others as well. Doing these things become a collaboration, and going through the process of getting these good things becomes more natural and much more meaningful. And that's it for this video. Don't know what the fuck happened to the power, but it's out. Sign up for my mailing list in the first link in the description. I'm gonna be adding a bit more stuff to there. I'm still working on a whole bunch of like back-end stuff, but thank you so much for watching to the end, and I'll see you soon.